Let's continue our discussion of exponent rules and simplifying. So let's do an example now again of these rules in action. So example, we have simplify as our instruction, simplify in 1. 12 a to the negative 2, b to the 4th, 3ab squared. Okay, so this one doesn't have parentheses on the outside, so it's pretty easy. Again, line everybody up. So that works out as 4. 12 can be divided by 3, you get 4. These two, so we know that that's a 1, so that's going to work out as, okay, so careful, let me write this down, negative 2 minus 1. And then this is easier, that is b 4 minus 2, and so that works out as 4, a to the negative 3, b to the second. Now can't leave the negative exponent part as your in your final answer, so we're going to simplify that or move it. So it's really 4b squared a to the 3. Alright, let's take a look at another problem. 2. That seemed pretty easy, that particular one. How about if we did this? 3y to the third, 4y to the negative 4 to the second. Okay, so again, be careful, order of operations. Groups first, so clearly when you look into the group, which is right there, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do because 4y to the 4th is 4y to the 4th. And this also leads me to a new point, and that is that I don't necessarily mess with the negative exponent right at the beginning. I take care of the negative exponent right at the end. But that's just me. You may choose to take care of the negative exponent right there, right in front, if you want to. But I'm going to let it be and just work with it. Okay, so then groups first, followed by exponents next. So this is going to give me 3y to the third. So remember that's a 1. So that's going to be 4 to the second, and then y to the minus 8. Okay, so these parentheses are just there to group the 4 and the y with the 2, and since we've taken care of that 2, we don't really need those parentheses anymore. So this is simply 3y to the third. 4 times 4 is 16 times y to the negative 8. And that's now straight up multiplication, so we can move things around. 3 times 16, y to the third, using the commutative property right here, moving things around, and now do the multiplication. 3 times 16 is 48, and then when you multiply like this, you're going to add exponents. So that's going to be 3 plus a negative 8, 3 plus negative 8, which is going to be 48 y to the negative 5. Can't leave a negative exponent in the final answer, so I'm going to move that into the denominator. There. Surprisingly, something that trips people up is just plain old numbers. So just want to do one example with that right there. So 4/3 to the negative 2, right? Again, nothing much we can do inside the exponent, doesn't reduce or simplify. So we are going to use that our rules of exponents. And remember that these numbers have ones there. If we don't see anything, everything has a 1 there if we don't see anything. So this exponent is going to multiply that. So that's going to give me 4 to the negative 2, 3 to the negative 2. And now I can either deal with the exponent or that 2, the negative or that 2. Let's deal with the negative. So I'm going to move this 4 into the denominator and this 3 into the numerator. So that's going to give me 3 to the second and 4 to the second. And of course we can take this a step further because I know 3 squared is 9 and 4 squared is 16. 9/16. Okay, let's do a few more examples. So let's see here. I'm gonna pick some that are difficult, that are challenging from your text here, that I think are challenging. So for you. Okay, so let's do 18 m to the negative 3 times n to the negative 2 m to the second, all of that over 9 to the second power. Alright, so let's see here. Inside this group right there, order of operations, groups first. Nothing that can be done, followed by exponents. So when we say exponents, we are really talking about this one, because there are lots of exponents in this problem, because that's the only one that can actually do something. So let's go ahead and multiply all our exponents through. So that's going to be n to the negative 4, m to the positive 4, and 9 to the second power. Now remember, these are all over 1. So this works out to be really 18. I'm going to put them together and move things around. So m to the minus 3 and m to the 4th, I'm going to put them next to each other so I can combine them. And 9 squared is 81. Okay, so lots of things we can do. We can reduce this fraction. So if I reduce that fraction, that's going to work out to be, let's see, 2 9s, I believe. With 9 divides 18 2 times, 81 9 times. And then I can combine these two using the product rule. So that's going to be m to the first minus 3 plus 4. Let me do that as 2 steps. Plus 4. And then of course we have n, which doesn't have a partner to dance with. So that's 2 m1 n negative 4 over 9. Can't leave the negative 4 in the final exponent answer right here. So that has to move into the denominator as 2m n, no n, I just said it can't stay there, m 9 n to the 4th. And let me do one last problem. Alright, so this next one is going to be x cubed y to the negative 4 z y to the negative 2 and all of that to the negative 6 times x to the 18 y to the 2 z to the 6. Okay, I think I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this one. That's fine. So the first, again, following the order of operations. The order of operations is a lifesaver because it forces me to, concentrate on little pieces at a time. So I'm going to first focus on this little group right there, and I'm going to simplify that. So when I simplify that, I get x to the 3 and the 2 y's. Okay, so that's y to the negative 4 minus 2 minus 2, and we have z and negative 6 there. These guys are along for the ride, like so. So then this becomes, inside the parentheses, x3. So that's a positive 2, so that's negative 2 altogether. Z negative 6, x18, y2, z6. Okay, groups done. Now let's deal with this exponent here, this one right there. So if I deal with that exponent, that's going to take me to x to the negative 18, y to the positive 12, and z to the negative 6. And I still have times x18, y2, z6. Okay, let's use the commutative property to move things around, because this is all multiplication. Put the x's next to each other so that we have an x negative 18 and an x positive 18. We have a y12 and a y2. And we have a z negative 6 and a z positive 6. Alright, and so when you multiply, you're going to add exponents. So this really is x to the 0, y to the 14, z to the 0. And anything to the 0 is 1. So this is really like 1 times y 14 times 1, which is really just y to the 14. And that's it.